Okay, we're back with this little project here. When we were offline, I just shaved this up a little bit further, cut this up a little further here. But I also wanted to do down by the tail here. So what I'm going to do is, we have it, I want the tail to fan out a little bit, just the way I want to do it. You can do it straight ahead too, but I thought it'd give it a little more character if we actually would round it off a little bit more. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm just making a rough cut on that. So we're going to cut from here. Let me just bring this up a little bit. Here, from the edge out, just like so. Okay? So that's what we need to cut out. So if you have a knife, make sure your carving glove is on and all the rest, and your other little thumb guard. I went ahead and did this side just to get a start on it, what it would do here. Alright, just like so. And we're going to do the same thing over here. We're just going to, and that's going to be tucked under a little bit. You see how that line goes underneath here from the actual pattern. We'll do that a little bit later. I'm just going to go down straight and just cut this out. Okay, a little bit more. See if we can get that deep enough first. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to chop this portion out. Just go from this way. You'll notice that I flip it around quite a bit. I'm just going to spray it a little bit, make it just a tad easier for me to carve it. And what we end up doing is flipping it back and forth is okay. You know, if you need to turn it around 100 times to get that cut right, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to hold it in one position, you know, and try to cut it. You turn that thing any way you need to turn it to make it comfortable for you. Okay? That's roughly what we've got here. What I'm trying to do is get more of a rounded look here, which might take a little bit of time. Okay, so that's as far as I want to go there for now. See how I'm pivoting my thumb with the knife? That is a real good way of controlling everything. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start rounding this portion up just a little bit. I'm just going to start chopping away from the head to the tail. I'm just going to, and I won't go too far, I'll just start getting it rounded up a little bit here and there. And we're also going to round the bottom up a little bit too. So I'm just going to trim some of this out. So whatever we do on this side, see how I'm going around the corner? You want to do with the other side offline. Alright, we're just trimming some of this off and just getting it to look like it's going underneath, because it's going to be tucked underneath him. So I'll show you all that when we get to it. But first we have to get it rounded up. I'm not going to worry about this end part here. Remember that flag is going to be draped over top of it, so it's not going to be really critical. It gives you a lot of leeway. Yeah, this might be a nice project for a beginner. Well, yeah, for a beginner you can certainly try it. The head might be a little bit of a challenge for you, but that's okay. We get this all kind of rounded up here. You know, a lot more has to come off. See how I couldn't go this way, folks? You have to turn your knife the other way. Okay. See how I was holding my thumb with my other thumb for leverage? Just to stabilize my hand. And that's okay. You know, you do whatever you need to do to make it safer for you to carve. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to just round it off a little bit. Alright, we're getting our shape. You know, it's very hard for a beginner to try to make things look more rounded than they are. So what we're going to do is we're not going to take too much more off here, because we can do that later. We're going to start on the head. Now the head, the bill will come out like so, okay? So a lot more has to come off right here. Alright, and then this crowns out a little bit like so. See if you can see that. Let me get rid of that. Just that one little ridge is bothering me. Let me just take that off. Okay? So what we have here is we have this bill, okay, coming out like so. Alright, we're trying to, this is our center line in the center, okay? And then we're going to crown this, well, this will be like the cheek portion first, and then we'll have the actual eye underneath there, the crown of the head. So actually, we're just going to try to round this up a little bit. That should be a little bit wider. See, that's not quite the same there. Okay. That's the beauty of using a pencil. You can get rid of stuff every so often if it's not where it should be. Okay, so roughly that's what we're going to try to cut out. So what I'm going to do, and folks, I want to make mention, we're going to go to another clip here shortly. I want to mention, the grain is running this way, okay? To show you this. The grain is running this way, as you see the arrows here, okay? Now, because it's running this way, this is very fragile right here. You can snap this off. If you happen to do that, it's not a big deal. We can glue it back on. But I'm warning you now, when you do this portion underneath here, make sure your knife is very sharp. Now, I didn't go all the way out. I'm going to be cutting some of that out, okay, for the head. You just want to make sure, and then this will come down like so, okay, and then out and around. But you just want to be careful down here. If you happen to snap it off, don't get upset. You can always use some crazy glue. It's great to have on hand for that. Okay, we'll be back and we'll start on this head on our next segment.